For my birthday, I decided to treat myself to a dark web mystery box gift. It was a service I'd used several times before, and they had never disappointed, sending heaps of useless but funny things to my doorstep. "Happy birthday, Trevor," a note on the box read. I picked up the package placed on my doorstep and noticed a letter attached to it. "There comes a time in every man's life where their skills and knowledge has to be tested. With that in mind, I shall set you out on a treasure hunt. Please follow the instructions within the box and, for safety reasons, burn every letter once it has been read or solved." To my surprise, the note was signed by Pete, my best friend since childhood. It was a neat surprise, but I was confused as to how exactly he'd gotten involved with the anonymous service. Whether he was just an active user there himself who'd recognize me, or if he'd been contacted by the website, I didn't know. Nevertheless, it seemed like a cool gift. My first clue would simply be a piece of paper with two incoherent words written on it. Van Mace. Could it be a name? Maybe a location? I sat down with it and contemplated the words in front of me. After just a minute, I realized it was an anagram. The letters just had to be rearranged to form a new meaning. Man cave was the hidden message. It was a reference to Pete's basement, a place we'd frequently spent our Saturday nights playing video games and drinking whiskey. I burned the letter in accordance with the instructions and quickly made my way to the man cave. There, I used my spare key to unlock the door, half expecting a surprise party. Instead, all I found was another clue. An ace of spades and a picture. Both were pinned to a board with an unfamiliar knife. I removed the knife and checked out the clues. The picture itself was of a place we frequently went with friends to smoke and relax, a beautiful field which no one knew about. It was just a short hike outside the city. I made my way there in about an hour. Our usual place was hidden in the shade beneath some trees. Once there, I noticed a shovel sticking out of the ground. On top was some fresh dirt. Spade. Ace of spades. Very creative, I chuckled to myself. Without hesitation, I picked it up and started digging through the ground. After less than a minute, I hit something solid. Expecting another clue, I bent down and brushed away the dirt. As I put my hand on the cold surface, I immediately retracted it in shock. It was Pete, buried under the dirt, dead from multiple stab wounds to his chest. In shock, I called the police, devastated by the loss of my best friend. While I waited, I sat down and tried to figure out what the hell had happened. That's when I realized that I had burned every note and that my fingerprints were all over the murder scene, from the strange knife in the basement to the key and the shovel itself used to bury him. I'd been set up. Throughout all the .onion sites I visited, few offered a genuinely fun community. It took years of searching before I finally found one with a Secret Santa kind of concept. It was relaxed, cheap fun that came with strange and thoughtful gifts. My last shipment to a random user was a duck-covered tie, from which I got no response. My own gift, on the other hand, was a USB stick with no label. A mystery pen drive within a mystery box. Though I've never been a technological aficionado, I wasn't dumb enough to just insert it into my computer. I had enough brains to use an old laptop that didn't contain any link to social media, bank account, nor emails. It was just an ancient brick that I hadn't used in years, perfect for the cause. Upon insertion, I was prompted to install a chat app. Curious, and feeling as if I wasn't risking anything, I installed it. As expected, a chat box appeared, and I started typing into it. "Hello? Are you ready?" I got in response. "Ready for what?" I typed. "For your gift," the chat stated. "What is it then?" I typed. Without an answer, my computer automatically started downloading a heap of information. Pictures, videos, documents. What they contained were horrors beyond my wildest nightmares. Pictures of murder scenes, videos of kidnappings, or fight rings that resembled gladiator battles. Others showed emaciated people put into trucks to be sold as slaves. All of them were stamped with dates from recent times and connected to different names. The names belonged to the culprits. They were politicians, actors, billionaires, cult leaders, basically a bunch of high-ranking personalities within the United States. Their dirt had been collected, damning evidence and irrefutable proof of horrendous crimes committed, and it had been sent to me. Why me? Was all I could ask. How can I bring these people down? I typed into the chat. You're not supposed to, it responded. What? Then why send me all this? I quickly typed. Because it's fun, the chat said. What is? I asked in the chat. The hunt, the chat quickly said. As he sent the last message, a new set of files were transferred to my computer. Random case files of seemingly random people, all killed under strange circumstances. Though the case files couldn't explain their deaths, it became abundantly clear once I saw that they too had received the same evidence that could bring down all these powerful people. Whoever had sent me the information wasn't trying to bring anyone down. They just wanted to put a target on my back and watch me get put to silence. I'm either forced to keep quiet about the horrors I know, or get hunted down by powerful people with dark secrets. My mother died on the 8th of July, 2006. My life was in shambles. I took refuge in the only thing that brought me comfort, my computer. I played video games all day and all night. One day, I was playing with a guy named Tom. I had just met Tom, but I felt really comfortable talking to him. Tom somehow knew something was bothering me. I finally told him about my mother. Tom confided in me that his father had passed away the previous year. He told me about this strange website on the dark web that really helped him cope with his loss. This really piqued my interest. After we were done playing, I finally went on the site. The site requested all of my personal information. Under any other state of mind, I would have discarded the site as a likely scam and left. But my curiosity and broken mental state kept me typing and clicking next. I was finally brought to a purchase screen. It wasn't clear what I was actually buying. For good measure, I used a prepaid debit card and hit the purchase button. Weeks went by, and I completely forgot about my dark web adventure. That was until I heard a knock at the door. I opened the door, and there was nobody. Not even a UPS, FedEx, or Amazon truck going down my street. There was just a small box about a foot in length and width. I brought the package inside and opened it. There was a stack of old VCR tapes. Excited and anxious, I inserted the first tape. A static-like image appeared on my screen, quickly replaced by low-quality film from 1993. What appeared was a precious moment I couldn't possibly remember at only 2 months old. It was my mother, holding me in her arms as a puppy jumped up and down. "You can see him in just a minute, Max," my mother said as she pet the dog. I felt a rush of nostalgia and confusion wash over me. I was happy to see my mother, but I couldn't remember ever owning a dog. Nevertheless, our dog, Max, would make regular appearances. According to the tapes, I grew up alongside the fateful creature. Still, I couldn't remember a single detail about him. As the movie ended, I quickly inserted the next tape. That one spanned from 1999 to 2004. Max had long since grown up and followed me around with absolute loyalty. Despite that, he had started to act strangely around my mother. Regardless of the situation, he just kept pawing at her leg. "Hey, what's wrong?" my mother would ask, confused. He whimpered as he kept sniffing her leg. The recording jumped a few months ahead. Suddenly, my mother was wearing a cast around her leg. She looked so sickly, with her hair falling out and her figure emaciated. Based on the footage, I could easily tell she had undergone surgery due to a tumor on her leg, and with the accompanying chemotherapy, her hair had fallen out. Our dog no longer seemed disturbed by her leg. In Max's reality, they discovered my mother's cancer in time. In my world, on the other hand, she'd been diagnosed too late for treatment. As time went on, my mother kept improving. Max grew old by her side and spent more time resting. The final footage of him showed him sleeping in my mother's arms. His time had come, and he passed peacefully in his sleep, having saved my mother from certain death. I felt tears streaming down my face as I stared into the alternate reality. Over there, my mother lived on, saved by the best boy. But that wasn't the truth. In my own world, we never owned a dog. Her cancer was detected too late, and she died in pain on the 8th of July, 2006. Thanks for watching. You can watch a similar video here. And don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell to stay tuned for more videos.